Welcome, friends. Welcome back to the kitchen. Welcome back to another episode of new old cookbook unboxing. And that's where I unbox the cookbooks, the old cookbooks that you guys send in to me to add to the collection. And this is Wednesday. Sunday morning, we'll cook something from one of the books that came today, that we unboxed today. So let's start out with this box. There's a tab. I think I'd know this. There's a tab. And what do we have? Watkins Cookbook, the J.R. Watkins Company, Winona, Minnesota. And there's a letter. Fantastic. Thank you very much for sending this in. So this is 1938. I have an earlier version of this book, 1936, I believe. I'll have to check. And my copy is in horrible condition. This one is in amazing condition. It doesn't look like it's missing any pages or there's any pages pulled out. One of the problems with a book like this is that as it's being used, pages get pulled out. It gets very weak here along the spine where it goes around the wire. Now, Watkins was a direct marketing company, door-to-door salesman, parties where you would go to someone's house or they would come to your house and, everybody'd get together and you'd order stuff and it would come mail order type of thing. They were absolutely massive pre-World War II, from sort of the late 1800s until pre-World War II. Around World War II, the way that Americans shopped changed. You started going to the supermarket and buying everything in one place, and Watkins sort of fell by the wayside. Actually went into bankruptcy at one point, I think. You still see it on the shelves today, though. Much smaller lineup of products, but still in the spices and flavorings, extracts type thing. And the recipes in here are fantastic. I mean, they are jam-packed with Watkins products. And there's some recipes I remember, I can't see them just yet. There are some recipes where you question the insertion of a Watkins product other than just to say that they could be used in that recipe. But there are a lot of really great recipes in these books. And this is the type of thing that, people cherished. People that bought these things absolutely cherished them because the recipes were quite good. And there's some mystery handwritten recipes in here. This one is for a good applesauce cake. It probably is pretty good. Not much in it. Never fail icing and mosaic cookies. Okay. This one's a treasure, and we will be cooking something out of this. And I love that it's got handwritten notes in it, letting you know one of the owners along the way actually used this book and took notes. Fantastic. This is fantastic. Thank you. Now we come to some envelopes. And these envelopes often have some really good little pamphlets in them. What's in this one? Ooh, these are all from... So, I like these. These are not from pre-1950. And the person who sent them in, Tom, thank you, says that he knows that. They are all from marketing boards. Some of these are from Nova Scotia Fisheries, and some of these are from Ocean Fresh Maine Fish. So I guess marketing board for Maine Fish. I never cook with fish. Very rarely do I cook with fish, and that's something I need to change. Maybe these will help me. I find stuff from marketing boards to be interesting. And in my advertising career, I have worked several times for marketing boards. They're very different because they're arm's length, almost like working with a government agency. In some cases, they are government agencies, And in other cases, they're like cooperatives of a group of farmers. And it's very difficult to get anything done. And it's very difficult to get recipes through to the point where they end up in these little pamphlets. I know how much hand-wringing goes into making these. They'll be fun to look through. Thank you for sending them in. Okay, I should dig out my letter opener. I'm sure I've got one inside somewhere. Ooh, what's in here? Ooh, a guide for mixing rum. Thank you for sending this in. So, I have never seen this before. 1936, Felton and Son, Boston, Massachusetts. And, okay. Interesting. Okay, so in the past, not so much today, but in the past, the way the shipping routes went from England, North America, West Indies, back up to North America, and then back to England, in the maritime provinces of Canada and the maritime states of the United States, fish, dried fish, salted fish, and all that sort of thing would head to the West Indies. And then what would come back from the West Indies was often sugar or molasses. That molasses ended up being distilled in the Maritimes and the New England area into rum. And so there was a lot of rum brands that used that leftover molasses that they brought back from the West Indies. I don't know how many of those brands still exist today. And I love getting these cocktail books, especially from, you know, the Prohibition era, pre-World War II Prohibition era, because it shows a different way of life, certainly. This is going to come in handy on the Cocktails After Dark program. Thank you so much for sending this in. So, you'll probably see this show up on the Cocktails After Dark, and you will definitely see a recipe out of this on Sunday's Old Cookbook Show. Thank you so much for sending these in. Love to get old cookbooks from pre-1950s, and the same with the old cocktail books. Love adding them to the collection. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.